Paul Foster Bell.
Speaker, I rise to take a call on the State Sector and Public Finance Reform Bill, third reading, and I'd like to start by congratulating the State Services Minister, the Honourable Dr Jonathan Coleman, who has introduced this bill to the House. Sir, I did want to respond to some comments made by an earlier speaker. I have to agree with some of the things Mr Goff said, actually, about New Zealand having a very good public service. In fact, our public service, sir, I would argue, is the envy of the world. It certainly would be the envy of those Middle Eastern countries, which I've spent some time in. I want to congratulate the opposition for changing their position on this bill to one of support for it, but I do want to reject some of Mr Goff's characterisations, particularly of the Foreign Ministry, sir. Sir, Mr Goff was a good Foreign Minister for New Zealand, but we have to remember that was 8 years ago. 8 weeks ago, sir, I was serving in that ministry, and I have to say the public servants are working very, very hard in MFAT. They're delivering well on the government's priorities. We've seen just this week, sir, free trade agreement negotiations with Chinese Taipei concluded. Trade is up with the Gulf states. The government is working on opening a new mission in Africa to support our UN Security Council bid, and every week, every month, we are making progress in that campaign to win the seat that New Zealand deserves to hold on the UN Security Council. So I would utterly reject the characterisation of a demoralised ministry that isn't producing results, because that is not correct, sir. These proposed changes to the State Service Act strengthen the State Service Commissioner's role in leading the state sector. They also extend Chief Executive's responsibilities to considering the collective interests of the entire government and longer-term sustainability, rather than focusing on single government departments and agencies. This is a very positive measure, sir, as it will help, I think, reduce the degree of siloisation that currently exists in the state sector, and it will ensure that the State Sector Act is modern and generally fit for purpose. I also want to reject, sir, a suggestion made by the previous Green speaker, which I think is utterly wrong, and that is claiming that provisions for public servants are being eroded. A key provision of this bill is actually ensuring that in cases of redundancy where the person, the public servant, moves on the next working day to a job that is comparable in its duties and responsibilities, doesn't receive redundancy. But, sir, this isn't actually a reduction in the terms and conditions of that public servant, because they will transition into that new role and carry on with those terms and conditions. So I have absolutely no hesitation, sir, in commending this bill to the House.
Andrew Williams.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I take a call on behalf